So that's how
we got a treat. We got a treat. We got a treat. You guys gonna learn some things today from this lovely lady. This is Miss Audrey.
How y'all doing today?
She's
Mr. Lonny came to visit
the
me.
mango wizard right here.
It called me crazy, but I fight the cold in zone 9A up in Ocala, Florida with tropicals and wind. This is how it looks at the end of the winter, because up here in Ocala we can get that late season frost, and when you got mangoes with blooms you got to protect them when they're over 40, and we will dip sometimes below 40. Like I had ice on my car less than 2 weeks ago.
Oh my God.
So all I had to do is take 5 minutes and pull this plastic back over, and I got baby pickerings on that tree now.
So Ocala in ground. Look at that.
Now this is gonna give me a long pickering season, because the back half of that tree hasn't even pushed yet. So the last cold helped me out.
That's awesome. How old is that?
This tree is about 3.5 years old. This is the second season with fruit. The first season it bloomed, it was gonna bloom. I thought this little hedge behind it was gonna protect it, and it got toasted. So I had to come through and cut off all those beautiful tips, and I got no fruit. So this goes up in October every year. And then when I know cold is coming, I start working on getting my incandescent lights. Usually the string holds the structure together and keeps the plastic and frost cloth. I use DeWitt frost cloth. It keeps the DeWitt from pushing in and touching the blooms. Because when I'm building this, I have to think about not only the size of the tree at that time, but how big are these panicles going to reach out? And see how I have space at
like
the tip of the
foot at least.
Exactly. So you have to think about the panicles afterwards. Because the last thing you want to have to do is come back and rebuild your structure. I did that my first year.
I bet you
And
did.
it taught me a lesson. Make this crap bigger.
Hard lessons in this game, isn't it?
Yeah. So this area is gonna be a new bed that I'm working on, my cold bed, where I don't have to fight every year. So over here, I'm putting in blueberries, mulberries, loquats, everything that's gonna do good up here without me protecting it.
Cherry of the Rio Grande.
Cherry of the Rio Grande.
Savannah cherry.
But
Katomba.
But the Barbados cherries is a no.
No.
I learned that the hard way.
28 degrees on that one.
They're coming back, but I bought so much stuff so fast because I knew I wanted it. I didn't have the time to learn what it needed, what would do good, what would do bad. So I built 3 structures. The last one I built over this way, I used 1-inch EMT. And last year we had a storm, and it came through, took that 1-inch EMT and bent it on its side less than 24 hours before a cold frost was coming. I cried. I said, you got 10 minutes to cry. And then get up and get it. And then I started pulling the EMT back up straight. It was all rickety and rackety. I had one that I couldn't straighten, so I put another one in the hole. It was sticking up 2 feet too tall, but I didn't care. I was just trying to make it through. But I didn't have one tree to get damaged. Come on, I'm show you my stuff.
You're an animal.
So these are all new things. I went on a 2-year hiatus. Like when I first got my car, that was the first tree that I had purchased in 2 years. And then I took Janet down to see Malaya growing at Grace to get a pickering. And she tempted me with a lemon zest. And then all of a sudden I got all these trees.
Yeah, yeah. Tends to happen, doesn't it?
Yeah, because I knew I wanted P22. And that was going to be the first mango that I bought.
I killed that one, by the way. I had a nice one, I killed it.
See them 2 right there?
Oh, those are nice P22s.
Hard to find, because I heard Zeal had issues and they didn't have a good year of grafting.
Yeah, that's.
So I'm gonna go back. I'm take these for budwood up here.
That's a good. I ate some of these a couple years ago. That's
good.
good fruit.
It's
yeah,
good
it's good
fruit.
fruit.
I had one in my swimming pool. You'll see a lot of pools up here. It helps me with I hand water everything. And so during this time of year, I will take my smaller pots and put in a pool and just fill the pool up with water, about that much, and just let them drink much as they want. My small 3-gallon P22 that I didn't manage to cut the canopy on, it fruited. And I came out and was shifting the pots around, turning them for sun exposure, and the fruit fell in my hand. I was like, what is this? I tasted it and I was like, oh no, do a video. You want to remember this particular one. So 2 years ago, I lost a whole crop to caterpillars.
Oh yeah, I remember the apocalypse.
The apocalypse of the caterpillars.
You know, we were talking about it the other day, and I guarantee, oh, I can't say guarantee, I'm pretty certain that had to do with our timing of our freezers. We got those 2 seasons in a row, and we had the apocalypse, we had late freezes. This time, we had a super early freeze, which I think those caterpillars, they were either just laid or they were very young, and that early freeze was enough to kill them.
Yep.
The late freeze, they were big enough to take it because it was 2 months later. And I'm sitting here because it's my birthday. That's Apocalypse Day. It's always my birthday. That's the weekend that it happened, 2 years in a row. And it didn't happen this year.
Well, I come running in. You saw how I drive in.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a caterpillar hanging in the middle of the road. And I was like, yep, time to get the screen up. Time to get the screen up. I got my BT. I got the one you recommended to stay organic.
Yes, Spinosid.
Spinosa, but I didn't want to even have to spray it because I spray so much the rest of the year.
Yep.
But come on in, this has done a wonderful job. And it keeps the mosquitoes out too. Dip in.
This is the ultimate tropical paradise. So, just to give you an idea of what kind of passion Audrey has for mangoes. This is comical.
It is.
Who does this?
And this is crazy.
Crazy lady.
So I got lychee in here. I have a boo in here. I have.
How is that doing for you? Is it potted or is it?
It's potted. And what I did is, it looks like a beautiful bonsai tree. Look at how active the tips are.
Sure.
So I wanted it to be small and bushy, not tall. So I kept it in a small pot. I'm putting it in a 15-gallon soon. But between the boo that I kept nestled under the bananas, but when the mangosteen told me, no, I'm cold, it started dropping leaves, that's when I start moving stuff in. This is my canister, also not supposed to grow up here.
Yep, yep.
My longan. Ah, there's a caterpillar.
Yeah, but that's not the apocalypse caterpillar.
No, but I don't want a caterpillar on my first longan bloom. Come on, come on, come on.
Get him.
You dead.
Get him. Caterpillar murderer. Yeah, that caterpillar apocalypse took out my whole crop of cherry the Rio Grandes. It took out a lot of stuff. I haven't had any
in my Pim Sing Moon since because it came through, it ate the whole tree, everything. But this is my first longan bloom.
You got a wheel bug on him.
Yeah.
See, he's going to take care of business for you.
Yeah, but you didn't kill that.
That's your buddy right there.
Okay, him and
wheel
ladybugs.
Yep, those are good guys right there.
This one I think is starting to bloom. Not quite sure.
Yeah, I think I'm about 3 weeks ahead of you on longan.
Yeah,
I got some open flowers right now.
A campool. I've never seen a bloom, so this is the first one.
Beautiful, beautiful.
This coconut cream, what I did is came through in anticipation of a nice fruit set. I put string on it and girdled it up to help support, because you know how coconut cream gets all crazy.
In ground.
This was a tree that was way around on the north side of my property before I knew that cold winds come out of the northwest. That was dumb of me. So I dug it up and brought it over here. Last year did nothing. This is the first real fruit. First real fruit. And I tuck in I got a miracle berry in there. It's starting to put out new leaves.
Mm-hmm.
It does better over in the shade, so I put it back in the shade spot. It gave a bumper crop last year.
Lots of shade, lots of water.
Lots of shade, lots of water.
They're a little more cold hardy than they're getting credit for. I have a bunch of them outdoor in ground and they do fine.
I can't wait for you to tell me about my other stuff. Then look at this ambrosia.
This one?
This is a beast of a tree, because I just dug it up less than 6 months ago and it's still fruited like this. Wow. That's when I thought I was going to be selling everything back in August.
Yeah, I know. I was cringing thinking about this. No, like no one is doing this. Though you're doing. No one's doing this.
Nobody.
No one up here. No one's putting this much into this.
It takes a lot of energy.
And I got some ideas for this structure.
You got
too.
some ideas for
I know
you see what I'm doing with it?
I got you.
Put pots up there.
I got you.
Anything to keep the pole from sticking through.
Uh-huh.
Almost looking like since I'm a circus, it might as well look like a circus. I'm the biggest clown in the room. And I got built in. Wherever it's low, I cut enough. See, my wig's still hanging back there. I come in from work and I snatch my wig off and just get to work before it gets dark. I got to get on it. But look at him cigar.
Oh, wow. Look at them. Already looking like mangoes.
Yeah, I mean, this tree's loaded.
So you got a pretty rigorous feeding schedule.
I do.
You've got your timing down. So what am I looking at right here?
That is Carrie.
Is that the one that you dug?
This the one I dug.
Oh my God, I didn't realize it was that big. Oh my God. Okay, the pictures did not do it justice. Wow.
I manhandled that out of the ground.
I got. Now I see why you dug so wide and so deep and so far. That's a big tree. And it's fruited.
Yeah.
And it fruited.
Right after, I mean, it had a big male bloom, but this is the tree that put me in almost anaphylaxis. I'm hoping and praying I'm not allergic to mangoes. But part of me is waiting on the smaller Carrie to bloom. And if it sets a lot of fruit, I'm going to sacrifice this fruit and harshly prune this tree like Shuja does to get it smaller. So that look at how much space it's taking up in here. And it's like putting a bull in a china shop. When I put it inside this structure and closed it up, the funk from the mango was so strong you could hardly breathe in here. Wow. I mean, it was just that strong.
I've heard some issues with the urushiol, the stuff that's in from the, it's
poison ivy?
Yeah, it's the poison ivy family, that the Indian varieties tend to be a lot stronger in it and have a lot more of it. As far as I know, Carrie is it's not as funky, but it's an Indian variety.
And bloom, dead bloom. And I went under like this.
Yeah.
And shook the tree, and it landed here. And I looked like I was Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Did you get some of that sap on you?
Oh, I don't know what got on me. It was right after I cut the grass. And I went to sleep. My bottom lip was swollen. Was covered in a rash. Steroids made it better. Then I came out here and shook the tree, and it tripled what was going on. And I had to double my dose of steroids, which caused me to get numbness and tingling, and it took me 3 weeks to get over it. Oof. So I risked my life yesterday knowing you were coming and cut my grass.
You feeling good? You strong?
I'm feeling good.
Good.
No itching, lips look the same this morning.
Maybe it's mango pollen.
Maybe it was the mango pollen, because you could smell the mangoes out on the main road down by the railroad tracks. And I mean, I would let my windows down and say, smells like home when I'm coming down the road, because when it's in bloom, it is so pretty. But this is my little pina colada. First time she's fruited.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm going to get a lot of, I'm going to trim all these. So I go back and I like to trim at the growth circle. See how long that is? I cut back to the growth circle so I can get 3 or 4 blooms to come out. Have a thicker canopy.
What you do here is what every single person needs to understand about fruit trees, about how to prune them. Keep them low, keep them short, keep them tight, and have a lot of growth tips.
Yep.
And I think there's so many people who are afraid to cut their trees.
Yeah, cut them. I like to cut them.
Cut them. Cut them, they grow back stronger.
Look, this is what I did to this raw honey. I pugged it right there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 branches on this tip. 3, 4 branches on that tip. This tree is going to be a bushy tree. It's still taller than what I would normally like.
See what she's talking about these tips. It's hard to see. There's so much fresh growth. There they are. You can see all them new growths.
Yep.
I try and lean on that so much. Take that center growth out as soon as it pops.
As soon as it pops, because it's going to take all the energy away. And if, like,
that's
example,
this guy right here.
Yep.
That little tip right there. Do you pick them out when they're that size?
Yep.
Because I do too. Yeah, I do the same thing.
I scrape them.
Now take that off, and now it's going to force this thing to grow out of all these other buds.
And if you like lateral branches, here, 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 and here, this will work. I don't like lateral branches. I like a cluster at the top. So I go back to the growth circle. And this is going to push out 3 or 4 branches all at one spot, and that's where the energy is at, so all of them will bloom at the same time.
Now that is not the same as this?
No, this was a terminal tip, but it wasn't at a growth circle. You're going to get a lateral bud there, a lateral bud there, a lateral bud there, a lateral bud there. But when you cut at the growth circle, you get them all from that tip.
So if I was to allow that to flush, that would become a growth circle?
Nope.
Down the road, because it would just
not necessarily. Let me find one. See how this one?
Yeah.
It flushed, then it flushed again, and it flushed again. I would have normally trimmed it back here, but because I thought it was going to fruit, I let
You
it
get
go.
another shot.
But now we're getting so late in the season, and I'm seeing more vegetative growth. I'm gonna come through, and I'm gonna prep all these for budwood. I'm gonna wait on these up here that look like it may possibly be a late season mixed bloom at best. Just because I love pina colada.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't a tree that I'm not totally in love with, I'd be trimming it. Totally trimming it. There's one up here that I just got. I want to show you. It's a rare one that I'd never heard of called Kiyao. Supposed to be really good. I would normally have cut this back down here at that growth circle and started my canopy lower, but it looked like it was gonna bloom and I want to taste it, so I let it go.
Awesome.
I let it go. And let me show you my nonas.
Oh,
I got
do
a
you know?
racha and something I don't even know what it is, but somebody gave me, so I was like, sure, I can grow
That
it.
looks like a longan.
Long. You think that's another long?
Yeah, that looks like longan.
Okay.
Cha-chas, I love these cha-chas so
I gotta
much.
get that one better. But this little pit right here did the majority of the work this year for keeping it warm. After I closed down the sides, that kept it warm with a thing of propane. So I sit out here and just chill. But this is the Nona section over here.
Is that white sapote?
That's a white sapote. Trying to get it bigger.
Yeah, I got a bunch of those in ground.
Really?
Gotta take the cold.
Yeah, I was told once they get established, I can put it out in that bed. And that one tree should give me a ton of fruit.
I had fresh grafts, 12, 14 inches tall, sat through the cold,
Wow.
growing fine.
See, I'm scared. I'm trying to figure out what would do well in the cold. Barbados cherry? No.
No,
I got a
do it.
dead statue back there in the back that I stare at every time I cut the grass as a memory of why you don't plant stuff out that you don't know what the hell it needs.
Yeah.
Because it killed the Barbados tree that was big.
It's funny. I was telling Bill on the way up here. I said every single tree that I have that I'm growing, I've killed one of.
You're not a grower if you ain't killed something.
I've killed them all. That's why I've been able to keep them alive, because I already killed that and I know what not to do.
Yeah, I dug up a big buttercream, killed it, so I had to go get another one. But you learn about transplanting. Look at how well that Carrie transplanted.
Sure.
But buttercream, and there was another one back here that just totally died. And it
You
broke
dug that hole wide.
I did.
Wide. There's, if you look back on Audrey's post, I'm sure you see somewhere there's memories of this. Like
Hurricane Ian.
she was down like on her butt in here with a shovel, a massive. That tree didn't look that big in the pictures at all.
No, it actually needed a 100-gallon pot, not 65. But I had already used a 100-gallon pot.
That's a lot.
But that's
That's
a
a
big tree.
lot of tree.
That's a lot of trees.
That's a lot of tree.
But I put my CC Loves, my pride and possessions. I kind of didn't want them to fruit again, so I stuck them back here. And it didn't get a lot of pollination, but it got a lot of new growth, which is what I needed. But see, these are 1 gallon
and some fruit.
But it's still fruited.
Yeah.
So this is going to be my Nona corner. And I'm considering taking them out of pots after this year. I want to think on it on a year. And if I still love it next year, then I'll go ahead and put them in the ground. Then I can put some irrigation down. I can't do drip because I have so much rust. It clogs up the drip heads. So I end up just cutting a hole in the black tubing and that there.
That's what Bill does.
That's why we do the bamboo.
He pokes a hole in his black tubing.
Just poke it right in the black tubing. That's when I have the black tubing down.
Yep.
So once I get everything out of here, I'll show you what I'm planning on doing next, which is putting them all on a tarp and drench feeding them. Everything that's in vegetative mode. But I mean,
My whole greenhouse is basically dedicated to Anonas.
really,
Like there's like 18 of them in there in the ground.
I love it.
Yeah,
But
that's so good.
Geffner's starting to fruit. I think that set of fruit right there.
There's a little flower. That's a cool flower on these little Anonas. If you guys don't know what Anonas are all about.
And then this is my Lisa. Look at the blooms on
Very
on.
pretty. Yeah, I've got some coming on mine too.
Yeah. But this is my pride and joy over here. That Murray.
Oh, what's
Murray
that
was
all
a
about?
gift. It was grafted, and the graft died back. The people who owned the house passed away, and it said that somebody passed by, saw the fruit hanging off the rootstock. And when Chris from Truly Tropical let me taste it, I melted completely out the chair. Totally ruined that tasting video. She couldn't post my reaction. But they named it Murray after the Murrays whose home it was. And this is an excellent I mean, you have to get the budwood from Chris. I mean, it's great. I actually grafted a piece of it, so I have a second one over there. But yeah, Murray, you don't get very much. This is the San Pablo. Got my first leaf. It was a straight. I started taking some of the stuff I learned with mangoes and applied it to other fruit. This was a straight center stalk up here. Nothing. And I was like, you know what?
See what she did?
I cut it.
Popped it right off.
And look at all these
Don't be
branches.
afraid to cut the trees.
Cut them and cut them at an angle so the water
runs off. It's my favorite thing to tell people. Please cut your trees.
Please cut your trees. When you go to a nursery and you see these tall trees like this with 2 limbs, that's not the tree that I want. I want short like that. Look at that Malika.
Yeah.
It called me from across the nursery.
See
I
that?
got that from Aaron Lynch.
See that? There's the cut.
Yep.
There's the graft right there. And there's the cut 6 inches above it.
You want to cut, some people will cut at the hip. I tend to cut down at the thigh, and then when I want it to be a smaller tree, I cut down by the knee. I will have trees at different cuts, and then I will take some of the branches and bring them all around to the side, because I know that one's going to be against the wall. So I want all the branches to grow this way. You can manipulate a tree.
I remember I watched you were rubbing on the sides of the mango branches, and all of a sudden they flex. I tried it. It totally works.
You can feel it just melt in
Oh
your hand.
yeah, totally.
Somebody
Soften
reported
right
that
up.
post.
About what?
It was too sexual.
Oh my God.
I was like, get a life.
Quit rubbing on your mango tree.
Like, rub it till it goes limp. And that was too much. I'm so big of a nut. I got a damn mango. I got a coconut tree in Ocala.
Yeah, I got a couple by mine too.
I was like,
I got a couple of those.
I'm gonna give it
little
a try.
dwarf greens.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those.
And then I think this is a June plum
June
or a hog plum. They're blooming.
That's June plum.
And
Delicious greens, the best.
I can eat the leaves.
The best. Oh, the best.
You're right.
Oh, so good.
You know, every time I hang around you, you have me walking around eating like
and
a damn
eating more
cow.
leaves. Yeah, that's right.
This is a lemon drop mango
Lemon
steam.
drop. Nice tree.
It's not supposed to be up here either.
I grafted some pieces of lemon drop from Adams. He gave me a big piece of the top of one of his big trees, and I grafted it onto a cha-cha. Took like quick.
Damn, that ain't gonna have no seeds.
Isn't that good? That's
I like
so
the little
good.
citrus aftertaste.
Yeah.
Since I need to hang around with you and
love
nobody
June
eat like a
plum.
cow.
That might have come from my place, didn't it? It probably did.
Probably did.
Probably did. I'll push that tree on everyone because it's awesome.
This whole shoe is open like this because I put that forced air heater down there. And it comes down, and I have a piece of plastic hanging here. It goes up, and it just circulates the heat. But I try not to use that forced air heater because it'll make your blooms burst. Somebody told me that. It will burst your blooms from too intense of a heat.
Huh.
So I use a propane heater and not propane, kerosene heater that I use diesel in, but the wick went bad. And all my white cloth turned black. I was like, I could care less. Keep it warm. That's all I care about. I'll just replace it next year. So then I got that this little I got that for $79. It's a portable propane heater.
Yeah. You gotta suck down some propane, but
Actually,
get it done.
I didn't use 2 propane tanks all winter.
Really?
I spent less than $40 on fuel this year.
Oh, that's nice.
I wrapped my edges on the sidewalls so I didn't have seepage coming through. Like, actually, this is leftover plastic from the top. All of this is also from the top. So the top cover covers the north side, has 2 layers of plastic, and the back side has 2 layers of plastic. And since this is where the caterpillars really like to hit, I put the plastic back down. And the ones that are getting in through those holes. Where do you see my vents, my hokey pokey holes? I ran around and hokey pokey poked holes in.
I don't think we're gonna have that caterpillar issue this year. I think
not.
it's that cold. It's too much difference from the last couple of years. So wow, look at this graft city over here.
This is my first time grafting, and I tried it last year unsuccessfully. But this year I got that one.
You got that one.
And they're all different ones. I don't know the name of them. I just got gifted them.
Look at that. That one's popping. A little bit of growth. Little tiny growth right there.
Oh, this one's coming.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
The person I got them from, I know all their stuff is top end. I know there's a PPC, a San Pablo, another Murray, So it's gonna be some good anonas come out of this. And these are all from on trees that I grew from seed 2-3 years ago. This one I found a lady in Ocala that was selling sugar apples for $30 freaking a pound. And I was like, I'll buy it because I want the seeds. So I went and bought the fruit, saved all the seeds, grew them out, and started grafting them. But you never know. One back there now is dead. So it just died for no reason.
So here's this is the layout, huh?
This is my layout.
This is it. Fox Farms.
So I'm going to put
all organic good stuff. All the things.
All the things. Don't spray anything without making it stick. Don't let it drip. Make it stick and stay.
Spreader sticker.
I'm out of Grow Big is what I use to get vegetative growth.
High nitrogen.
High nitrogen. And then when I first started to see trees a little bit further south, like in Orlando starting to wake up, I come through and I hit them with Bloom Big.
All right, and that's phosphorus, high phosphorus,
and potassium.
Phosphorus and potassium, flowers and fruit.
All right. Then when I started to see the panicle emerging, I hit them with this. Just before the flowers open up. Because they need some nitrogen and they need more potassium and phosphorus. So this helps.
More high phosphorus.
High,
definitely the highest phosphorus and potassium. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium.
All in a foliar spray.
All in foliar spray.
Immediate uptake.
So you catch those times when you see everyone's in Orlando waking up because they're a good, 100 miles south?
Yep. That means I'm
month behind, probably?
I'm a good month and a half behind.
Yeah. I think I'm probably 2 to 3 weeks behind.
I'm behind now because I'm working too much, so I haven't put down all this other stuff.
So when are you talking? When is that? For Ocala, what date are you looking at?
It
December, January?
This year, everything's a little bit late. Last year in February, that pickering was in full bloom. This year, you see how it's kind of slowly coming out of it? I think it's because it's a start type season.
Yeah.
This was the coldest winter I've ever had. We got down into the 20s and it stayed in the 20s for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on repeat days. It's not like it dipped and came back up.
Yeah, Joe said he had 22 for 4 days.
Yep.
That was terrible.
So I put this stuff there to keep me from running into my mangoes. This is my...
all the goodies.
All the goodies. I have not put down my pelletized gypsum. That helps with sweetness. But it's coming. I got to get it down before the fruit get bigger. And then I use azomite. It's just supposed to put it around. This is going to go around all the in-ground trees. And then I'll figure out how it works on the potted trees. I'm not quite sure. I don't like a lot of salt buildup. The other thing that's over there that you didn't pick up was sledgehammer. You put it on your potted trees and it gets rid of all the salt buildup.
Okay. I don't use any of that, so I don't get no salt buildup in my stuff.
Now,
we are natural, but I'm not getting the same kind of
the one thing I noticed,
heavy results you're getting.
Yeah, I had to go with Bloom Big. I got it from the marijuana growers. They have good, clean stuff. It's almost like I use some of my medical knowledge and understanding how bioavailability is important. Not just what's in it, but how is it going to be used. And like Centrum Silver, it gets a lot of bioavailability. What you take is what you get. You get a cheaper vitamin, it'll be in there, but how much of it are you actually absorbing and
because it's the wrong type.
Exactly.
Magnesium is a perfect example of that. Magnesium. Garbage unless you're taking the right stuff.
Hey, you see that hole right there? That's my vent.
And this is how we let the air out.
Yeah, and I'm a girl with it believes in duct tape. So it's letting some heat out right now, but it'll let the rain in. So
it is hot in here.
Well, I had a shade cloth. That's what that black thing is back there. But when I first put it across, one of the gussets broke. So I'm supposed to return that and they're sending me another one. But I put it right across the middle and it dropped the temp in here by a good 10-15 degrees.
It's definitely South Florida hot.
Yeah. And you'll see flowers like little marigolds. This is Kent. No, this is fruit punch grafted onto Kent. But
yeah, right there. Look at that.
And that whole limb, this whole thing. And I actually got, but this is from when the hurricane and the winds that whipped through. This one and another one had some end tip damage. This tree,
Look at all
I
these
snatched
mangoes.
it out of a friend's yard that didn't want it. When he went to go get the shovel and came back, I was toting it to the truck. I literally grabbed. He had just planted it, so I knew the roots wasn't established. I just got a wide base and snatched that sucker right up out the ground. I know that Concord grapes won't do good, but that's what everybody says. I'm gonna see.
You know what? They also say that I can't grow Cabernet grapes, and I've been doing it for 3 years. Maybe something will take it out one day, but they're blooming again.
And that's what these are, all different kind of grapes other than the muscadines I have in the back. Look at that. Angie that wants to say hello.
just blowing up a fruit.
Yep, everywhere.
So I have so many trees this size, and I'm just trying to get mine established in ground and get solid. And my method's a little different. I light giant fires, but I don't build anything over them.
Okay.
I just lit a gigantic fire, and we're installing a lot of bamboo too.
Be a windbreak.
Behind it, yeah. I'm finding if I put something behind it, and I got my heat source on the opposite side, just like you have over there with that pickering, that changes. That makes a difference.
It does. It does. You got to put the heat source on the northwest side so that when the wind blows, it blows that heat protection to keep the frost from falling down on it. Like I have smudge pots back there in the corner. I will put them out on the farthest corner out front, and it'll give me like a fog. I hate to do it because it's dirty. I get oil from the mechanics, but am I gonna let all my trees die? No. I hate to use them. I didn't even use them this year, but that's because I got better with my winter protection. I didn't have to use them. But in here was nice and toasty. I have thermometers all around during the winter time.
It's unreal how many flowers and set fruit you have in here.
I know.
There's so many set fruits.
This is my best fruit set ever.
This is look at this. Look at all the fruits. Look at all the fruits.
Best fruit set ever.
Awesome.
And I use flowers like those that are water thirsty. They'll tell me, okay, get your butt in here and give everything some water.
Little indicators.
A little indicator. I use those little itty bitty 20, and I go and buy them when they're on sale, 50% off at Lowe's. So they're like 25%.
That's why you're always buying them flowers.
I'm buying them from Lowe's just to tell me when to come and water my trees. Just a quick look.
She a smart lady, isn't she?
That little felt thing did horrible. It requires a drip irrigation on it. Everything dries out too easy. So I snatched all of my vegetables out of there. My son probably like freaking out. This is a little floor
Look at all this.
And I come through and I take anything that's yellow. I won't let the tree break my heart. I'll take control of it.
You ever just tap them?
Oh yeah.
Just tap the
I take
panicles?
the water hose and spray them.
Oh, do you?
Everything gets, because I don't get rain in here. And in nature, you keep your spores down because the rain washes the spores off. So I come through, you saw me the video with me with my white gloves, washing everything, giving them white glove treatment before they bloom, because I knew after they bloomed, I can't aggressively do that to get rid of scale. So I proactively give everything a hand wash down with those white little cotton gloves from Harbor Freight.
Are you going to write a book? You should write a book on this. No one has nailed mangoes like this. All little little tiny things that you do.
Oh, you're making me blush.
But look at what you're producing, though. You're going to produce what? How many thousands of mangoes are you going to pop out of this little structure?
It's going to be a ton of mangoes.
It's going to be a lot of mangoes coming out of
actually
here.
sell mangoes this year.
Yes?
I still got a freezer, bottom shelf.
You're good to sell mangoes.
I saw people selling mangoes last year, $60 for 6 little small PPKs that wasn't all the way ripe yet. And I was like, yeah, I'm also going to sell some of this budwood instead of just taking it and throwing it on the burn pile.
I have like 200 rootstocks. Yep, I have 200, at least 200 turpentines that I pulled out of Pine Island last year.
What?
Yeah.
I want some.
You go on a run and you go on a hunt and you determined to find what you're going to find, you find it.
Who you talking to? You're talking to the 1,000-mile driver.
Me and you ought to go to Pine Island one day together. We will have a blast.
It would be a blast. It would be a blast. See,
I got some good spots to hit down there.
That's a plantain. Ain't supposed to be up here, but it's doing just well.
What you have pulled off is awesome.
I mean, sugar loaves. See how I cut this one? It died back when I dug it up. So I pruned it here, and you see where all the growth is coming.
Right on that circle, just like you were talking about.
And
so,
that's going to fruit.
So when you're talking about budwood, and you do a lot of grafting and stuff, talk to us about selecting budwood. What are we looking for to graft?
You want your rootstock to be active. So I feed my rootstock before I know I'm going to graft onto it. So it already got energy pushing. So then when I come through and I select something like this that has buds starting to push, this is a little bit too far for me.
Okay.
Because this already has energy in it. I'll come through and I will cut this and use it. Let me find another good grafting piece. See, this is a Freyland. They bloom late. These are all Freyland blooms. That's a good mango. You can eat it green.
Really? I love green mangoes. I like a green Valencia because it's so big. You just get so much food off
I like
of it.
green Angie. You just take them off when they're about that big, little nubs, throw them on the counter. They still turn yellow. And they taste so sweet and have no seed in it.
That's awesome.
So this would be a good example.
Oh, here you go. Yeah, you said you're
when
right.
it's gone too far.
Okay.
These have already pushed out. They've opened up. You want to get them before they get to that point.
So that's too far?
That one there, I would still.
You would graft
I would
those?
graft that. But
Okay.
I'm cutting all this off. I'm gonna let this. If this is a bloom and it sets fruit, great. But I'm gonna take it to this growth circle right here because I want this tree smaller. These two trees are gonna make me. That's what you see the 4x4s. I'm expanding this 8 feet.
After we pitch this roof a little bit.
After we pitch the roof a little bit.
I'm going to show you how to do that.
Okay.